Now we're live.
All right. I'm gonna. Hi, everybody. James, can you see it all right?
Looking good, Becky.
Okay, thank you. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to our weekly networking webinar coming live to you from the beautiful Northwest Oregon and Seattle, as well as Denver. And we're really excited to have a great show today. I want to share a little bit of information first about who we are and why the heck we are doing this every Tuesday. It's every Tuesday, 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. It's 3 p.m. Mountain Time and 5 p.m. Eastern Time. And it's open to the public. Everybody's always welcome to be here. Today we will get to see James a little bit. I'm Becky Tangwall, and then Gene Hamilton in Seattle area, based out of Portland, will probably not be able to make it today. I Take the Lead. We are a leads group organization, and we love to create community. We do this one member at a time, and we do this in every town we come to. I just want to share that I Take the Lead is not a great fit for some people, but for our ideal clients, they love to build their business by networking, and they love to have fun while they're doing it. As you can see, here's a picture of one of our meetings where we were singing happy birthday to one of our great members, Dan Gardner. I just want to share, we will be sharing some of the additional benefits that we provide as a leads group organization. Every week we'll have a different benefit that we will be sharing. And these are some of the varied benefits that we share. In addition to just joining a leads group, you have a ton of added benefit. And one of the things is we do provide special guest speaker meetings. Every week on our webinars, which are based on improving your networking skills, we have typically one of our special guest speakers from around the country talking about ways that you can improve your networking skills, improve your businesses by referral. And the whole idea is we want to help you improve your networking skills. Everybody can always come away with a tip. If you do nothing better than to come away with the idea, well, if she could do a webinar, I can do a webinar, because I've made a mistake every single week that we've had this, and we had to even reschedule one of our webinars so far. But it's been a lot of fun, and I want to thank everybody who's hung in there and continue to get on the webinars every week. Remember, if you can't make a webinar for some reason, you can always register, and you will automatically be sent the replay. And also, I want to share, I'll be letting, James will be introducing Tom Ninness today, but I want to remind you, if you have questions that we aren't able to get answers to today, because if we run out of time, if you have questions that you would like Tom to answer, go ahead and send an email through the webinar, and after the webinar, you'll automatically get my email, and send them, and I'll make sure Tom gets the questions so he can answer those questions for you. Right now, I am going to bring it back and let James introduce Tom Ninness. I'm very, very excited to hear him. I just hear great things about him. And so, James, you want to go ahead and have the pleasure of introducing Tom, and I'll let James take over.
I do, and actually, you know what? I'm going to use Tom's screen to do it. Hi, everybody. James Klingensmith. I Take the Lead. So excited. Tom is such an amazing, amazing guy that I personally had to come down here and do this with him. He always does our networking for newbies Tom is an inspiration. I mean, a true inspiration around Denver, Colorado, and more than even parts of the world. Tom has a newsletter that he sends out at 4 o'clock every Saturday morning, which is just absolutely awesome and amazing. This man here has changed so many lives in the 34, you say? 34 years?
Yep.
34 years has been a mortgage lender. I can't have enough to say about this man. Plus, his advice on not only networking, but his advice just in general on business and how to act professional and be a great person is just awesome. So, ladies and gentlemen, I introduce you to one of the most fabulous men, the most amazing man I've ever met, Mr. Tom Ninness.
Yay!
Well, James, you'll still be on my Christmas card list. Good afternoon, everybody. I appreciate the opportunity to share about networking, and I noticed a number of the names that are attending this that have been dear friends and those that have been tied in with my other company, Summit Champions. And so it's an honor that I get the opportunity to share about networking and networking through the pros business model. And you're going to learn about that today. I've been in the mortgage industry now for 34 years. I've helped a little over 9,000 families either get into their dream home or refinance them. And I started a company called Summit Champions about 11 years ago. I do a weekly sales coaching letter that goes out to a few thousand every Saturday morning at 4 a.m., which is the time I get up, but it's already been pre-sent. And so if you want to sign up for that, just go to summitchampions.com and you can sign up for that. And that might be your wake-up call every Saturday at 4 a.m.
Wow.
But the purpose is to talk about networking. And I'm so fortunate with James that I get a chance to speak to a group that he holds on a monthly basis called Network for Newbies. And it's for those that, well, it's funny, we get to see some people at every meeting. I think they just love the fellowship of the network that comes there. But we also have people that are brand new to the Denver area or who just they want to learn about networking. And I know for a lot of people, when it comes to networking, they're scared to death. And before we start going through the slides, let me tell you that if you want to be successful in networking, don't go to a network event to sell, but to serve. And if you have a heart to serve, then you're going, in some ways, that takes the whole pressure off when you go to a networking event. So let's go through the slides, and let's have some fun with this. So let me do this. And I'm going to act like I know what I'm doing. And there we go. Okay, so again, Networking Like the Pros by Tom Ninness. You're going to learn what the acronym PROS is. For those that know Tom Ninness, they know what that means. And but I want to start first and just have some preference on and asking some questions. I think the reason why, I think people go to networking events and in some ways they have a plan, but do they really have a plan when it comes to follow-up? So I want to ask you some questions, and I thought about these questions when I put this together. Is number one, do you have a follow-up plan for those that you meet at a networking event? And I think we have great intentions to having a plan, but again, if we have the mindset when we go there to sell and not serve, then at that point you might get a bunch of cards, but you're trying to get back to the people you think you have a fair chance of getting business. And for me, I look at it as that everybody is an opportunity. I have to look at them as either an A, B, or C when I talk to them. An A is somebody that I definitely want to have a face-to-face appointment. A B is somebody that I want to stay in touch, either via email or phone call and see if I can move that person from a B to an A. And C's, and 95% of the people that you and I meet at a networking event are C's. Only God knows if we'll ever do business with them, but we're going to go through the rule of 250 and why it's still so important to capturing the information of that person, to learn to find out what that person's biggest challenges are or why are they here. And if we met somebody, how would we know if that person would be a good referral source or an opportunity for them? And so first, do we have a plan of follow-up? And do we have a system that communicates all the people that you and I meet and be able to label them? Are they an A, B, or C opportunity? And can we take that contact from the very beginning to commissions and opportunities? Another question is that have we calculated our hourly rate, and are we earning that hourly rate at networking events? I think that's important. If we don't know what our time is valued at, then when we go to it, and that's why it's so important, we're going to go through the exercise, but you know, if you don't know what your time is worth, then you're probably wasting a lot of time. Now, you know, when I tell people that what my hourly rate is, I can tell you that they're a little on the shock side. Are we okay?
We're okay.
Okay, and but that's how I value my time. And the last point on this slide is, do you have a classification system to keep people from contact to close loans? And then after you close them, are you still educating them with information? So there's a couple of books that have been very important to me. And for those who have hung out with me all these years, they know that one of those books is Love is the Killer app by Tim Sanders. So again, I'm going to repeat that if you're writing notes, that to read the book, Love is the Killer, K-I-L-L-E-R, app, A-P-P, by Tim Sanders. And so Tim, when I read the book, and it's now probably about 10 years old, I imagine, says that the new application for today's consumers, or those professional referral sources that we are trying to connect with, is kind of like a three-legged milk stool. And the first leg would be knowledge. They are looking for knowledge. And so here we have this knowledge, but guess what? If we're not sharing this second leg, which is a network, if we're not sharing that knowledge with a network of people on a regular basis, getting our message out, then our knowledge is worthless. And the third leg is we want to share that information with compassion and no strings attached. And that's how people are attracted to you, through the law of reciprocity. So here we close people. Do we still stay in touch with them? Are we still giving them consistent knowledge? Even if they might not do business with us again, they know people that we need to know about. So it's very important that you still have a system from beginning to the end, and after the end is done, the transaction is done, you're still staying in touch with them. So let's go to this next slide. So
hey, Tom, real
yes.
quick, before you continue, can we get you to do could James do the full view so people could see the slide well?
We were doing the full view, but then changing. We could try it one more time.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
From the current slide.
Current slide. Let's see what happens. It looks like.
Will that work? Do you see that?
See, that's what's coming up, and that's what people see.
Oh, okay.
So it does not look like the full screen, correct, Becky?
Correct.
For some reason. Slideshow. Let's try it like this.
Yeah, set up slideshow. Is that what it's on?
See, we tried it with my computer. We couldn't get it to work at all. So this is James' computer, so it's his magic fingers that is trying to work this. We need to back that up.
Not working.
Okay.
Yeah. The other thing, I know it's quick, but if you want to send it over to, okay, that works better.
All right, then why don't we try that?
It works better for me anyway. How is it for everybody out there?
I love it. That looks good, Becky.
Okay.
All right, we're going to go with it, guys. If you want these slides, then at that point, just shoot me an email at Tom Ninness, T-O-M-N-I-N-N-E-S-S, or I'm sorry, T-Ninness, T-N-I-N-N-E-S-S 6035 at gmail.com, and I'll send them to you. So what's holding you back when it comes to a successful networking event? It could be that you're new at the profession. And I understand that, but you know what? If you study your craft, you could be better than the old dog who's sitting out there. I think, you know, even for, you know, we have program guidelines. There's so much that we have to remember, and so on Thursdays from 6 to 7, I'm just sharpening my saw because I know that there's going to be a Tom Ninness who will try to knock me out of my turf. And so even if you're new, make sure that you know your stuff very well, because don't be surprised you know your product and your services better than the old dogs out there. For some people, you're just complacent. You've lost the desire. You go to a networking event and people read that based on your body language. It's how you present yourself. Do you have a plan? You know, for myself, I have a plan in everything. In fact, people, when I told them I don't make my bed, they thought that's the only thing that I know that Tom doesn't do on a regular basis. But, you know, I know that in my case, there are certain things that I need to do on a daily basis to have a successful business. What are those? Well, I try to have 3 face-to-face appointments a day. I try to make 12 calls a day, 4 of those to past clients, 2 of those that I'm trying to bring into the fold, 4 professional referral sources that I already have a relationship with, and 2 that I'm trying to bring in the ranks to work with Tom Ninness. What else do I do? Well, I spend about an hour on LinkedIn. If you are on LinkedIn, link in with Tom Ninness, and you will see the kind of response I do. I spend about an hour a day on LinkedIn, and I do these things, by the way, on what I call the non-human hours. So nobody's up at 4 typically, things at 5 and 6 in the morning. What else do I do? Well, I go to a networking event once a week. I try for 2. The second one, I hope I'm in front of that person, in front of a group. I call it my 50 butt rule. Wherever 50 butts are, I hope my butt's in front of them speaking. If you want to up your hourly rate, then you want to become a speaker and speak as much as you can. For some people, you might have, well, the market is bad, so why even network? Well, I can tell you that you need to get your head cleaned out. Somebody is doing business, and no matter what kind of market it is. And so, like, when I tell people that I read at least a minimum of 4 books a month, it's it's really just to re-energize Tom, to put new thoughts in Tom's head, and eliminate the head trash. And so, as they say, an idle mind tends to end up putting, if your mind is idle, then you end up, I think, just daydreaming, and typically daydreaming some things that you shouldn't be. How about your past? You know, people make excuses on why they don't do well. And you know, I wrote this out. I says, I am free from all my past failures and shortcomings. And are you really? I mean, when I share with people about my past, if I did it based on my teenage years, or my young adult years, or, you know, like my mom passed away when I was 13 and my dad put us in an orphanage. He didn't want to raise kids. If I wanted to dwell on that, then of course I'm not going to do well in my business. For those who know a little bit about me, my dad was murdered when I was 19 years old. Wow. You know, if that was something that was, you know, that could be holding me back. See, I think the word present is something that we get new every day, and I just look forward to what God has in front of me when I take my feet and put them on the side of the bed and get ready. I just can't wait to see who I'm going to have an opportunity to make a difference in that person's life. How about this one? I'll do business with anybody. I'm desperate. I hope you don't do that. You're going to be wasting your time with a lot of D's. D's are duds. If you meet duds, don't even collect their card. If you get their card, throw it away. How about this? Perfection before action. I know some people feel, well, I got to have the perfect line, or I have to have the perfect flyer. And that's one thing that never stopped me. When we got a new product out in the marketplace, I wanted to be the first one out there to sell it. And so perfection is something that has never stopped me, but you might be that person on this line that everything has to be perfect before you do anything. How about you haven't figured out your niche? So when somebody asks what you do, you don't know how to really say it to make it different than anybody else. How about this technology? It could stop you in the tracks, and that's why you can't get anything produced. For some people, they don't envision themselves as a top producer. Top producers work 80 hours a week. I won't do that. And when I share that, my #1 realtor, who 3 years ago, he and I, we closed 108 transactions together. I've done business with this gentleman now for 25 years, and he is in the top 5 realtors in the Denver market. He takes off Wednesdays and Thursdays as his weekends. He's got 2 boys, and he has only 1 assistant. So again, it's having those operations and systems. Top producers, if they're really top, they're also probably top in their life. They have a life plan, and so they have set aside what is the most important things in their life, and then at that point they schedule their work around that. How about accountability? Do you have an accountability partner? The only accountability partner I've had problems with is I asked my teenage son when he was a teenager to be my accountability partner. I would never ask a teenager to be an accountability partner again. But do you have somebody that keeps you accountable for the actions and tasks and the daily disciplines, and I call them the non-negotiable that will give you the kind of business you're looking for. But the #1 reason why people don't do well is because they don't know how to prospect successfully. And so that's what happens when you go to a networking event. You're stymied because you just don't have that bent to prospect. And again, from the time I started this little talk, I said, don't sell, but serve, and it takes all the pressure out. So if you're coming in with a servant's heart to make a difference in other people's lives, you're going to do so much better. Okay? All right, let's go to the next slide. I always like reading this when it comes to circumstances because mine is odd. But people are always blaming their circumstances for what and where they are. I personally do not believe in circumstances. The people get on in this world are people who look for the circumstances they want, and if they can't find them, they make them.
Wow.
So I want to talk about transformation of your business. And for some of you, it's going to be maybe a total way of thinking differently. So transformational thinking allows you to become more and aware of getting what you want. It's a process that begins with making astute decisions with the use of your time, staying innovative, and utilizing your capital to the best advantage. And the same thing when it comes to networking events. My challenge to you, especially since we've got the last 2 months upon us, is to go to as many networking opportunities as you can. A lot of people, they tend to slow down during the last 2 months of the year, and for myself, I crank everything up. For those who know that I wrote a book called The 90-Day Journey, I really focus on these last 3 months of the year, or you could focus on the last 2 months of the year and the first year in January. But if you put some real work in making the right decisions and spend your time on the dollar productive activities, you're going to have an incredible rest of the year. So how much do we want to make? And when you have some time, come up with a number. But let's pretend, and I'm going to get my phone out. I wasn't prepared. I should have brought my calculator in. So let's say that we want to make 200,000 next year. And if we take 200,000, I'll let you do it, James. So take 200,000, and let's pretend that we're going to take 3 weeks off for vacation. And so that means we're going to work 49 weeks. So 200,000 divided by 49, and let's say we divide that number by 40. We want to work 40 hours a week. And when I tell people that well, you say, well, I work more than 40 hours. Well, the thing is that what are you doing during those 40 hours? Are they effectively 40 hours, or is 10 hours wasting your time? So it might be 32 hours of concentrated work, but if we put 40 hours, your hourly rate is $102.04. My hourly rate that I try to achieve is $367 an hour. And so because I put such a high number on the value of my time, then I become very choosy about the people that I make appointments with, or the activities that I do, or the networking events that I attend. Are the people that are going to be there, are they going to help me earn that $367 an hour? So take some time and figure out, what do you want to see that W-2 look like at the end of the year? How many weeks do you want to take off? So take the remaining weeks and divide it by that number and divide it by the effective hours you're going to work each week, and that is your hourly rate.
Wow.
Okay, so what are you doing with your time? And this, that I know everybody can read, but you want to spend your time on the left-hand side of the screen. You want to be prospecting. You want to contact your list of 250. Those are people that I always say, if I had a daughter, which, by the way, I finally got a granddaughter in our lives about 4 months ago. We thought everybody was going to be a boy. So if I was the one who was throwing the wedding for my granddaughter, who would these 250 people be that I would invite to the wedding? And those are the people that I'm going to concentrate on, who are going to help me introduce me with the professional referral sources that are important to building my business, which we're going to talk about. I'm going to work with buyers. I'm going to call past clients. I'm going to create professional referral sources. I'm going to manage my pipeline. Do I know what my pipeline looks like? I'm going to set appointments and speak and go to networking events. And on the other side is maybe some of the non-productive activities that I could have maybe somebody else doing, for example. Or for those that take us down rabbit trails all the time, those are the ones that I have to learn to say no. And I can tell you, if you really have put a price on your hourly rate, you're going to learn to say no without any regrets. And as I tell people, say no and don't flinch. So we're going to go into planning. We're going to talk about the Pros Business Plan. Before I mention it, there's another book that has been important to me, and that is called Blue Ocean Strategy, and it's by a gentleman named Kim. And what I'm going to be showing you, I've met with Professor Kim, and he is part of the Harvard Business School, and he has allowed me to share my business plan and say this is a Blue Ocean Strategy. The book Blue Ocean Strategy basically is that, and like a mortgage professional, there are thousands of us that are in our business, and most of them work the same way as the rest of them. And so that is considered a red ocean. There's really nothing different than one to another. Would be, or strategist would be somebody that separates himself from the majority of the people who do what he does, and he can swim by himself. And there's certain things that I have created. I've created this business model that I share with as many people who will listen to me. This is how I run my business. I also have created a real estate investment forum called IRR. If you go to irrofcolorado.com, you can see what I created about 10 years ago. Professor Kim said I could use that as considered a blue ocean strategy. I'm always looking for new blue oceans that my competition is not involved in. So our goal can only be reached through something that we truly believe in, and so we vigorously act. There's no other route to success. So, I look at it, there's three ways of getting business. We could wait for it to come to us. That's not going to do real well for you. Or you could pay for it, which for those that are rookies, if you're new in the business or what you're doing, this is something that I truly want you to try to avoid, is paying for business. I still remember when I was in Phoenix, there was this one gentleman who came from he must have been a trust fund baby. The stuff he sent to realtors was unbelievable, but he didn't do a good job cleaning his database, because I used to get all his stuff too. And he had a watch that had his picture on it, and then so I would wear the watch, and when I called on real estate offices, I would turn my wrist and say to the realtor, "Do you know who this person is? Have you seen him yet?" And it's kind of funny, nobody met this guy, and eventually he just went away. He just bought stuff, but never called and never made an appearance. He just bought stuff. So one of the things that I always tell people to avoid, especially your first 6 months of your business, is not spend money. That this is a business, it's hand-to-hand combat. You need to be in front of as many people as you can. So we want to earn it like a pro. And whether we're networking, whatever we're doing, we want to make sure that we keep this business moving forward, and we want to do it so that we can predict what the results are. So what are those? We're going to work with a written business plan. We're going to execute actions on a consistent basis. So when I look at a business plan, we could just use one sheet of paper, and we could divide it into thirds. The first third is on the top is, what do we want our outcome to be? And I look at it as, you could do it on a weekly basis. So this is my outcome. This is what I want to accomplish. And we want to make that as specific as we can of an outcome. And then the middle part is, okay, so here's my outcome. What are the disciplines? What are the daily disciplines that I'm going to do to create this outcome? And the last part of that one sheet would be, what are the projects that, if I complete this, will assist me in this outcome for success? And so again, that's how easy it is. So you got to work with something, and you got to execute these disciplines or actions that will help you with this outcome. And then you're going to use a database. You got to make sure that every person that you meet, unless it's a D, is you put them in the database. You want to make sure that you label them, and then how are you going to convert these people who are C's into B's to commissions? And then once we close our transactions, we stay in touch with these people, and we market with them, because they also know 250 people on the average. We're going to talk a little bit about that. We want to create professional business partners, and we're going to talk about that. And we want to make sure we get out of the office, dig in, and prospect. Again, 50 butt rule. Wherever 50 butts are, your butt should be in front of them or among them. And if you can, speak with them in front of them. And there's probably 50, not 50 butts in your office, so you need to get out where the humans are.
Right.
Okay.
Before we move on, you may be answering this question, but Jack Heinzman wants to know what kind of a CRM you are using for the database.
Okay, that's a great question. I am using Salesforce.
Oh, okay, good, yeah. Thank you very much. Thanks.
You're welcome. So these are the 3 pillars of the pros business model. The P stands for perpetual. I want a business kind of market we're in. what kind of economy we're in, no matter what month we're in. I want a perpetual business. I do not want something that looks like a roller coaster. I want it to be referral based. I need to make sure that my operations are solid, so when I'm out there selling that I can deliver what I promise. The S is so thinking outside the box. I want to make my business sellable. Whether you can make a sellable business or not, I can tell you, if you looked at your business as something that you could sell or pass down to your family as a legacy, a lot different. There's three pillars that we concentrate on. The first is prospects. That's the important thing about networking, is that you have to have a funnel full of prospects, C's, B's, and A's. Eventually, they're going to become current and past clients. So in my case, 41 to 48% of my business comes from people I've already done business with. Well, how do you do that? Well, you got to teach them to become a bird dog looking for opportunities. But you can't close ugly. You have to make sure that they're getting a wow experience, and in some ways a non-event, where they felt like they just didn't even go through anything. And my goodness, that's how people will start spreading the business, or spreading opportunities for you. And the last group is professional referral sources, and we meet a lot of these individuals when we go to a networking event. How do we convert them? And again, they are A's, B's, and C's, but we want to capture all of everyone that we can. Let me ask you this question. I thought about this when I was putting this together. Is we know what net worth is. It's taking your assets minus your liabilities, and this is what you got left over. But how about in your business? So question is, how many of my clients are loyal, that they are out there looking for opportunities for me? How many do you have? How about your sphere of influence? How big is that? And how many of them are fans and friends that when they hear that somebody's looking for an opportunity and that is you, are they doing everything they can to direct that opportunity to you? How about your network of professional referral sources? We're going to go through that a little deeper here in a couple slides, but each one of us who is listening, I would assume that there are probably 10 professional groups that could be good for your business. So what are those? So make that list. What are the 10 professional groups that would be important for my business? And then list in each of those 10, who do you currently have? And are they A's, B's, or C's? And you're going to find out that you're going to have some holes. There's going to be some that has one or two of them. So now you've written it down. Now you know where your holes are. Now you can share, if you're at a networking event, what would be a great professional referral source for you. And then last thing is that your pipeline of suspects, prospects, and clients. Where are you with that? And do you have a healthy list of people that you can come from a C to a B to an A? Let's talk about the rule of 250 quickly. Another Detroit boy, and by the way, I am from Detroit. I always tell people now jokingly, it's a great place to be from. I spent my first 25 years in the Detroit or Michigan area, and there was no jobs when I graduated from Central Michigan University, and so my wife and I, my bride and I, we just celebrated 37 years together. There was no jobs in Michigan, so we moved to a town outside of Michigan, that was Chicago, and that's how I got in this business. And then transferred to Phoenix, which is about as close to hell as I want to get in my life. You got to like heat. And my poor wife gave birth to 2 kids in 2 years and said, get me out of here. And so we've been fortunate. We will celebrate 30 years on November 15th in Denver. And by the way, that's my birthday in case anybody wants to send me something.
Oh.
But the rule of 250 was, there's a guy named Joe Girard. He is from Detroit also, who is in the Guinness Book of World Records as the #1 salesperson. This guy sold more cars by himself than 85% of all car dealerships in America 5 years in a row. And when you think of one person doing that, you go, wow, how could he do it? Well, he just knew or felt that everybody knows 250 people. And so when he sold a car, he wanted to make sure that he had the opportunity to help sell to all of that person's friends, all 250 persons' friend, and he really had a system in figuring out how to do that, and that's how he grew his business. And so if it's true that the average person knows 250 people, and you know 250 people, and you take that number, 250 times 250, that's 62,500 potential targets. So if every one of your 250 people shared with you one person, or how about 4, then that would give you 1,000 leads. And so my question to you is, what are you doing to staying in front of the sphere of people that you know? Let's say you don't know anybody. When I came into Phoenix, I didn't know anybody. My wife kind of forced the hand and says, you got to tell Fleet Mortgage either resign or relocate, but I can't handle this heat anymore. So when I walked into Denver, I had 3 little boys that were under 5 years old and a stay-home wife, and I need to eat. And so I looked at it, the world was an opportunity for me to get business. And so that's what I did. I mean, I shaked hands, I kissed babies, there was no stopping Tom Ninness. In my first year, I closed $48 million in production. And that was from a company that thought, there's no way Tom is going to do well in Denver. In fact, we had 2 originators. They couldn't close more than $8 million together combined. And it's just because I looked at everybody knew 250 people. I better find 250 people, and I better start staying in touch with people with my knowledge. So again, do you have that kind of sphere, and what are you doing to staying in touch with them? So how many prospects do we need? Well, this is just kind of an interesting way of looking at it, is that if you only need, let's say, 5 to 10 contacts that are A's, those are ready to do business now, then you need twice as many B's, and you can have unlimited amount of C's in the pipeline that you are feeding knowledge to. And so for those that are C's, you don't want to spend your time face-to-face. Maybe on the phone once in a while if you feel that you can be able to convert them to B, but you want to stay and send them on a consistent basis knowledge. And then with the B's, you want to add phone calls, and then with your A's, that's your precious time. Those are the people you want to spend your time with. But you're also on the phone with them, and you're also sending them knowledge because they can pass it on to other people. So what are the good professional referral sources? You're at these networking events. Let me ask you, if you've got a business card, if you turn it over, is it blank? If there's nothing on there, then what you might want to consider is adding a great professional referral source for me are the following professionals, and list who those are. For me, it's realtors, builders, private banks, CPAs, financial planners. You can see what is on the slide. It can be churches. It could be whatever your niche is, but you should have maybe that list prepared so you can hand it to somebody. But you know, and I jokingly tell this people, you know, when it comes to realtors in the Denver area, there are 25,000 realtors. Do you think I have a personality for 25,000 realtors? I don't. There are realtors that they sell only 1 house a year. That would not be a good use of my time. I'm looking for great people. Well, what does a great person look like in these professions? Well, if you haven't put together what an A is and what are the characteristics and attributes, then you need to do that. And so here's mine. I want somebody who works full-time in their profession. I want somebody that invests in their business. They create loyalty for their clients. for long-term opportunities. They network. They're always looking for additional business. They execute transactions on a regular basis. They're professional in how they do their business and in their appearance. They will sit down and willing to share ideas with me. We have an essence match. There's respect for me and my team. They're a person that I can trust. That's what I'm looking for. So when I'm talking at networking events and they're asking me questions, what's a great opportunity for me, then this is something that I could even say, you know, one of the things that I'll do is when I get back to the office, I'm going to send you what the characteristics of a good professional referral source is to me. And that's something that you also should do. It cracks me up. I remember years ago I was at a networking event and the person sold Mary Kay, and I said, so what's a great referral source for you? And she said, anybody who has skin. Well, everybody has skin, but what she probably should think about is professionals that would be a great referral source to refer her clients, and then I would have a whole lot better idea on who to send her information to. Because when you meet somebody and they become an A, I got a sneeze coming, I'm doing everything I can to make sure I don't sneeze. You know, how deep do you go in relationships? See, one of the things that I can tell you is I do not treat everybody that I know the same. When it comes to my past clients, I label them as C's, B's, and A's, and I treat them differently. How do I do that? Well, I learn about that person, and I can tell maybe they're high influence, and so there's certain things that I treat them differently than I do a C. They all get knowledge. The B's get phone calls, but the A's are people I want to stay in touch with. The same thing is when we are at networking events and we meet somebody who is a person that is an opportunity. How deep do you want to get that relationship? So these are some of the things that when I sit down with somebody that I feel is an A, this is what I want to do and this is how deep I want to get. And you know, this is something I wasn't planning on talking about, but I want to make sure that I give you some scripts. So let's say you're at a networking event and you meet a professional that would be one of the 10 professional groups that would be a great hit for you, for your business. So you make an appointment. Well, the first thing you want to do is do some recon. Go on LinkedIn, go on Facebook, Google their name, learn whatever you can with that person, and then you end up making an appointment with that person if they're willing to do that. If it's a phone call, you can still learn all these things. But one of the things that when you have this kind of meeting, you want to learn first about them and their business, what's a good referral source for them. But you want to make sure you ask this one question, and that question is, what is the biggest challenge you're seeing either in your business or your industry right now? And it's not that for you to solve, it's to ask that because you can use that as an ace in your back pocket. So let's pretend that the guy's name is Dave, he's a CPA, and I'm talking to him, and one of his clients that I did a loan for, I just closed successfully. I sent him a copy of the questionnaire on the kind of job that I did, and Dave is willing to talk to me. I like Dave. He's been in the industry of his business for 25 years. He has high net worth clients. This guy is truly an A. I've learned what some of the challenges that he has in his business. But I don't know if he has somebody already sitting on the pedestal doing mortgages for his clients. And so I'm going to finally ask that question. I'm going to say, Dave, you know, it's been so great to talk to you and learn about your business. Let me ask you one more question. When it comes to your clients' mortgage needs, have you aligned yourself with a professional to assist them in that area? And at that point, I'm not going to say anything. He has to give me an answer, yes or no. See, I think a lot of us would cop out and say, you know, Dave, it's been great to know you and learn about your business. Can I leave a bunch of my brochures and my cards And if you have a client that has a need in mortgages, would you mind passing that information to him? And he's going to say, absolutely, I have no problems, but I don't even know if he's got anybody. So again, the way you would say it is, Dave, it's been great to know you. Let me ask you, when it comes to your client's mortgage needs or whatever that profession you have you aligned yourself with a professional in that area? And then shut up, because he has to give you an answer, yes or no. So let's say that he says, well, Tom, it's been great talking to you also, but I need to tell you that my brother-in-law works for ABC Mortgage. Well, he is an A, but just went down to a C. And so at that point, though, what do? I say, well, shucks, I appreciate that. I understand what loyalty is with your brother-in-law. There's no way Tom would do that. I would say at that point, well, Dave, I understand, but will you allow me to send you information that I think could help you in your business from time to time with no strings attached? And of course, he's going to say yes. And what am I going to send him? Well, he already told me what his biggest challenge is, so I'm going to send him stuff that I think could help him in his business, while his brother-in-law's got his hand out for the next deal. And do you think I'll have an opportunity to do business? And I can tell you there's been many, many no's that I have received in my life, and I look at a no as not yet, and hopefully you'll do the same thing. But these are the things I want to know. I want to know their vision. I want to know each other's business plan so he understands how I do things. I want to know who his strategic partners are. Why? Because that just gave me maybe another 8, 9 opportunities, because those strategic partners are probably what are some of them that I need for my business, for my buckets. So, and we need to know passing referrals to each other and cross-selling each other. But here's one of the most important things, is the last one, is that strong partnerships need to be profitable on both sides. Never ask a referral partner to compromise profitability, and you also have to separate friendship from business. We're almost done here, guys, and hopefully I've given you some good ideas to think about and put into action.
Oh, I think it's powerful. Thank you, Tom. Thank you.
Yeah, this slide is just, again, here we have a client. And we typically, if we do a good job with clients, we might have friends, family, and coworkers, but I look at it, look at how many different opportunities that Tom Ninness has in the mortgage industry to touch, and also broaden the amount of professionals that I have opportunities to do business with. So, in conclusion, what's the number one thing? You got to prospect, you got to network. It outranks every skill that is out there. So if there's a habit that you need to break, and that is the habit of discomfort. And networking is not comfortable for a lot of people. In fact, when they find out there's a networking event, they're probably going to make any excuses they can. But you got to remember your hourly rate. Can you make your hourly rate on the excuses of comfort? I don't think so. And so it's a discipline that you have to do, and you have to commit. I look at prospecting as a daily activity. It's like brushing our teeth. If we don't brush our teeth every day, our breath's going to smell. If we don't prospect every day, then our business is going to smell also. And you got to know your purpose. Why are you doing this? It's that why. For me, I think for those who have watched the movie Schindler's List, he towards the end he talks about, if only I sold this ring, I could have helped a couple more people. And for me, it's a driving force is to make a difference in as many lives as I can. Because and I don't know how many days I have left on this. People ask, will I ever retire? And I hope to God I don't. Because then I will not be living my purpose. I love what I do, and I hope that you are in a profession that you love what you're doing also. And the last thing is just stay motivated. You have to be disciplined, and then just go for it. And again, I hope that I gave you some ideas and concepts that made a difference in this hour, and that I helped you earn your hourly rate. Thanks.
Amazing, Tom.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you so much.
That was incredible.
Okay, we have time. We have about 5 minutes for questions if anybody has any questions at this point. Ariana wants to confirm your email address. I'll get that from you, Tom, and everybody on here is going to get a MailChimp tonight, and so I'll make sure that they have it. But if you have a way to post it on the screen, or what is it, Tom?
Yeah, it's on the last one. It's on the last slide, so I gave you 2 emails.
Oh, okay, thank you. Yeah, perfect.
tninness@firstcal.net, and then there's also tomninnes@summitchampions.com, which is my speaking, coaching, writing company that I have.
Oh, very awesome. And Mary says, awesome stuff, thank you.
Hey, if I can say too, Tom actually speaks to quite a few organizations. If anyone out there knows any place that Tom will speak, he's just absolutely in person. He is absolute. You thought this was good? You should see him in person. I mean, just absolutely amazing and awesome.
Oh, I can tell. I could just tell from the information today. I got a lot out of it. And I hope everybody listens to the replay, because I could listen to it several times, because there was a lot of meat there that we can all take back to our businesses. So thank you. Oh, Toby says great info. Thank you.
You know, I got a few things out of here. I just wanted to ask you a few questions, Tom.
Okay.
Like, accountability partner, that's huge. Who do you use now?
So there's 3 people that are important to my life that ask the tough questions on a weekly basis. And, you know, again, you know, these are people that you can fully trust in asking. But, you know, again, these are people that I also hand my weekly, this is what my outcome that I want to accomplish, these are the disciplines that I have. And I'm fortunate that that teenager that I talked to you about is now 30 years old. He's a business partner in my office, and we hold each other accountable on what we are trying to accomplish for the week. So,
nice, I love it.
What else?
Oh, I got lots. Blue Ocean Strategy. Now that's a new book. I haven't heard of that book.
Yeah.
Like you knew the author?
So, and it's not a new book. I think it's been around now for about 10 years also. And so I've had 4 conversations with them to see, because I love the concept of Blue Ocean Strategy. And can I use that when I share the different ideas and things that I've created? And so every time I have a new creation, then at that point, I'll contact them and lay it out. They'll do the research, and at that point say, yes, Tom, you can consider that a Blue Ocean strategy. So that's how I do it.
Wow.
Wow. You know, Tom, one of the things that I took away is you said if you don't have an assistant, you are an assistant. And wow, that really came home to me. So thank you so much. I mean, in addition to everything else, but I took good notes. I really took a lot of notes.
Good.
I did too. I borrowed some of Tom's paper in here because it was just amazing stuff. What I like is you talked in the beginning about your follow-up plan for everyone you meet. Now, Becky, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can. Absolutely.
Okay, good. You talked about your follow-up plan for every single person that you meet, the A's, the B's, the C's, the D's. Do you contact the D's at all?
I don't. No, if I really felt, I mean, it's almost like that sixth sense. You go, oh my goodness, this is a person I hope I don't ever run into again. I don't know if you've ever been to a networking event, but you know that there's not an essence match. So, but one of the things I didn't share, so when I meet somebody at a networking event, then the first thing I'll ask them is for their card. I'll never give them mine until they ask. And I'll look at at it just like the Japanese. They always take the card and they put it in between their thumbs and they look at it and then they turn it over and then I'll pull out my pen and I'll take notes. And that's the only way you can remember what that conversation was and what is that biggest challenge if that question comes up, or what is a great professional referral source and an opportunity, what would it look like to you? And then I'll label it as an A, B, or C. That's a person I want to have a face-to-face with, or just follow it up with just a thank you note and I'm going to make a call. That would be a B. And then for the C's, then it would be a follow-up. It was great meeting you, and then at that point I'm putting them in Salesforce and they're going to start getting knowledge about the things that I do. But you do not see cards lying all over the place with Tom Ninness. I mean, at that point it's like a guilt trip. You got 100 cards and you go, and I always tell people, don't take my card if you're not going to send me anything, because you're hurting my profit. A card might cost 4 cents, but if I've got cards just flying all over the place and they're not providing me anything, then my goodness, I could save a little money just to ask for my card. I know it's terrible, but that's how I feel about it.
So you said you reach out to people by mail, by phone, and shaking their hands. I didn't see anything about email or social
Well, I
network.
consider mail as email.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Right.
that's all lumped into that.
Do you write written letters then?
Oh yeah, I write 2 thank yous a day.
Okay, 2 thank yous a day.
Yep, Saturdays and Sundays. So again, it's just a habit you get into. You can't say thank you enough.
Tom, Jeff, and I believe Jeff, I think he's one of our members in the Tacoma area. Jeff asked, and he's a mortgage lender, he asked, do you have daily...
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know him personally, but I know he's somebody that I recognize the name really well, and he's been hanging out at Summit Champions for a long time.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. He asked, do you have daily goals or weekly, for instance? Many successful business people, for them, a good goal is to contact 10 new people each day, every day. What are your daily goals like that? Or you just said you write 2 thank yous every day.
Yeah, that's one of them. I use, I'm also pull this thing. So I use a planner pad. Don't know if anybody has seen what a planner pad is, but this is planner pad. If you go to plannerpads.com, you can see what it's all about. And this is a yearly plan. And so, again, it has all my list of what I do on a daily basis. And so, and I am, I am automatic, or I'm automated, and I use Outlook. So I have different ways of getting my, staying in making sure that my actions are done. But I have it in writing, and I also have it through Outlook. My daily actions and opportunities is 3 face-to-face appointments a day. I'm also looking for the opportunity of calling 12 people, and I've mentioned this, 4 to past clients, 2 that I'm working with, 4 professional referral sources, 2 that I am trying to bring in the fold. If you call my voicemail, you will see that I change my voicemail every day. And one of those appointments every day is a phantom appointment. It's where I spend my time making those calls, and because it is so important. You can call it the hour of power, whatever you want to call it, but you again, if it's not, if I don't put it as an appointment, then it's not going to get done. I mentioned that I try to go to at least 2 networking events. One of them I hope to speak at. One thing I didn't mention is that I'm always looking to pass on a referral on a daily basis. I think the reason I do well in this business, it's not because I give to get, I get because I give. And I cannot outgive God, and I look at it as that I'm not trying to outgive other people, but in some ways, because I give a lot of referrals out, they feel obligated to finding me a referral also. So those are just some of the daily actions and tasks that I do on a daily basis.
And let me ask you really quick, how long have you been with I Take the Lead?
4 years, I think.
Oh, very nice. Yeah.
Yeah, and again, it's fun. The great thing about I take the lead, at least in the Denver area, I can't speak for Oregon.
Yeah.
Is James has put some real opportunities for people to go to other groups. There's a lot of not like happy hours kind of things, but that's how you meet people. Is not just in your weekly networking group, but also in the other opportunities. And as I
Right.
met, is I get the chance to make a difference every month at Work for Newbies.
Right, right. Yeah, we do the same thing everywhere, Oregon, Seattle, wherever we go. So yeah, absolutely. Thanks.
Tom, let me ask you this question because I've been asking every speaker that's been on this, and it's kind of almost a tradition now. How do you define success?
I think for me, it's doing what you're supposed to be doing.
Uh-oh, it stopped. It froze. James, Tom's screen froze. Hmm.